Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Firefighters Podcast, where we seek to develop, inspire, and motivate the world of the emergency services operator through a series of wide-ranging conversations. Now, before we go any further, just hit that rate, follow, or subscribe button on whatever platform you're listening to. It's a key performance indicator for us and helps us reach even more people. Now, here's what we've got for you today. Welcome back to the podcast and to episode 2 of our High-Rise Masterclass mini-series with Brent Brooks. This was again recorded at the International Tall Buildings Conference in London. In this episode, Brent takes us deeper into operational reality of high-rise firefighting, water supply, standpipes, improvised systems, mayday situations, smoke movement, building-specific battle plans, and the need to adapt fast when the building, the fire, or the system do not behave as expected. Brent shares real incidents where assumptions about the fire floor, stairwells, alarm panels, water supply, and smoke conditions created serious consequences. And he makes a powerful point throughout, which is high-rise firefighting cannot rely on generic tactics. The building dictates the fight. This episode also challenges us to think differently about smoke. In high-rise incidents, Brent argues that we are often smoke fighters before we even become firefighters, because smoke movement through stairs, corridors, and common areas is what kills people and traps crews. What I really value from this talk that Brent gave is the honesty. Brent doesn't just talk about success, he talks about what went wrong, what was missed, what changed afterwards, and why these lessons need to be shared. So, as you listen, think about your own buildings in your own area, your own department, your own service, your own brigade, and your deployment model, and whether your crews have enough options when the first plan fails. This is episode 2 from the High-Rise Masterclass with Brent Brooks, and I'll see you on the other side.
So part 1, we just talked a little bit about size up, fire spread, fire conditions. Maybe after lunch, depending on the feedback, I might give you the timing of that. We know exactly how long it takes fire to spread on exterior cladding. We know exactly how long it takes for smoke to spread. We know exactly how long it takes for toxicity to kill somebody. I mean, the science is out there. It just hasn't been put in a form that firefighters can understand it. But now we do, so we're going to share that. So it's a little bit of that size up and high-rise fire. Now we're going to talk a little bit about water supply, and this will probably sound different to you, but we challenge the building system. We know the buildings, I think they're great and they're magical and they're mystical, but we challenge them at every single fire we go to, and I want to explain that. So if we look at San Francisco, and the exact same building is actually in Chile, the exact same building, and I think it's the same designer and everything. So we look at a 61-story building, and I converted PSI for you into KPA, but that's what you're pumping it at to get the lows down, 1951. Oh, you're in bars. See, bars where I'm from is a place you go to drink. Right? It's not something we pump a building. We'd rather pump ourselves than a building. All right, let's stick with PSI. You're pumping at 500 PSI just to get to the 61st floor. Think about that, how much pressure it is. You're talking about how many bars it is for your hose lines. What is it, 20 bar? And is that something you guys would do at 20 bar? Okay.
Very different.
Yeah. So there's some workarounds to that. I mean, we're not going to get into pump operator, and I know I saw the engine or pumper yesterday. It has a digital. We had a relief valve. We have to cap a relief valve. We're going to pump crazy high pressures instead of dumping. There are workarounds for that, but this isn't a pump course. It's just about hydraulics. This here is a standpipe system. That's not my colonoscopy. That is normal work. You have metal, you have oxygen, you have water, you have tuberculated pipe. It's normal. NFPA 14, 13E, and 1710 talk about tuberculated pipe. But I'm not worried because our hose and nozzle package passes tuberculated pipe. This is normal. Ask any firefighter that's had a plug. What do you think about this? There's your fog nozzle on straight stream. That is standpipe water. That's normal. It's black, it's dirty, it's stinky. Maybe it's hard to see from the sunlight, but that stream is actually hollow and transparent. And it's very, very cool to see. I've never seen this. Obviously we're inside a fire fighting it. Now we're actually doing research and development. See how it's hollow down the center? So you got those little droplets. The little droplets hit a high heat environment, and now they turn to steam, or you don't get penetration. And that's why the smooth bore passes debris, allows us to get that penetration. It's been a game changer for us. Because to reach a stream on that at 1200 degrees is 8 feet. You're getting 8 feet inside that. So if you're at a door, then it's on my website, by the way, and you're trying to make that, you're getting 8 feet. With 265 gallons per minute, I have a 100-foot reach to stream. At 1200 degrees, it goes to 50 feet. I got this room covered. I got this room covered easily with a 50 feet at 1200 degrees, which is the point of flashover, right? The second the floor gets wet, so that floor, that water that you think I'm wasting on the ceiling to cause contraction and make my problems go away, the second the floor gets wet, it's impossible for it to flash over. If you experience a flashover in your career, or even witness one, it's 100% your fault. You didn't open the line. The floor's wet, you can't cause flashover. It just can't happen. So just eliminate that right off the hop and send water downrange. You should never be caught in a flashover. It means you didn't flow the line. So that was a fun experiment. What's also a fun experience is we hire 100 recruits every 20 weeks. We have a daytime recruit class and we have a nighttime recruit class. So our standpipe system gets a lot of work. And every morning, there's a tuberculated pipe that comes out. Am I excited about that? No, that's just normal. That's rust, right? Water, metal, oxygen, you get tuberculated pipe. That's why the NFPA tells us exactly what hose and nozzle package to use. Microbiological induced corrosion happens a lot in dry standpipe systems that get moisture, especially when you have a country that has a lot of temperature changes, hot, moist, colder, builds up, yada, yada, yada. You know what I'm talking about? Well, this is what happens. Will your fog nozzle pass that? No, it won't. So here's the life safety director, Mike Dugan. He talks about the city of Toronto taking over a building. The next day, they get a fire in the building, and we were successful. His words, not mine, but last Friday, they digged 400 pounds of crap out of the standpipe system. So let's look at the standpipe system. So the pump was here. The pump is now gone, but that's what it looks like. The arteries of the building. That's normal. Now, other countries are starting to put nitrogen and starting to put different additives in the standpipe system. That's great, but just expect these systems to be weak. The buildings, the longer it goes, the more problems that you're going to encounter. Well, with this fire here, it's a 4-story building. That's it. It's not a high-rise, but we're going to talk about it because it is standpipe equipped. They got a hit on it. You see the white smoke? Well, this killed a firefighter, Patrick, Loyalist, Ontario, just outside Toronto, Afghan vet. And when you read the circumstances and you talk to the firefighters that were there, it was needless. And it says, basically in the report, is debris plugged both lines. This is impressive for a volunteer fire department to get 2 lines on a fire, but 30 seconds after charging the fire department connection, they have a line of duty death because 2 lines completely plugged. They have no water. You're in deep and you have no water. So that's just a volunteer fire department. It's really unfortunate. What about this? This is another firefighter near miss in a larger fire department. What is this in the nozzle? Does anyone have any idea? And it's a wet system. Do mice have gills? Do mice live in the wet standpipe system? So where does mice come from in a wet standpipe system? And Teflon tape in there as well. No, it's the fire department causing that. We pump into the fire department connection. We push the mice into the building. And then the backup line that went to rescue them, metal debris plugged the second line. So I just told you about a line of duty death in the volunteer fire department, the first line, the second. Now I talk to you about a near miss, the first line, the second line. If it happened to us, it can happen to you. So this is another Auditor General's report. There's your date. There's all your science behind it. We had a 100% failure rate in every single fire department connection that we pumped that was city owned. Not 99.9%, 100% failure rate. We have a problem. What do you think the problem was? Just one fictitious company signing off on the inspection saying that they're doing it every year. And we wouldn't have caught it if the complaint from this one building owner says, hey, every single year, this detector on whatever floor it was, I'm replacing it every single year. They're just putting the same documents for years and years and years this went on for. They're not being tested. So now that this problem has been identified, our area having jurisdiction, now we require that dry section to be tested. A little bit of a game changer. I took this. You guys know where this is? What does this, here it is, North Greenwich Station, Fire Brigade, Tunnel Hydrant Inlet, North Greenwich to Canary Wharf. So is it going from North Greenwich to Canary Wharf? Is it splitting the difference? I honestly don't know. And would this be dry or wet? So in my world, the area having jurisdiction, it can be no longer than 10 minutes to fill the standpipe system. So if we think we have a fire, you're going down there, the system gets pumped. Automatic, it gets pumped. But that's actually, it sounds very similar to ours. It's good. I wanted to make that connection. Okay, so we can now predict and forecast our high, can you guys see that? We can now predict and forecast our high-rise fire. I talked about that 12 minutes. That's the driver's job. Our drivers are challenging the building system. We know what plan A is, and those firefighters that are going aloft are going to hook up to the standpipe system. That's plan A. If that plan fails, this is real world troubleshooting. What are you going to do? They get up to the whatever floor, we're on 17th floor, they hook up to the standpipe system, they have no water. And then they radio you, I got no water. Well, how long do they have to be on air before they have to actually back out? You need a second wave to take over from them. If you can troubleshoot the building system within 12 minutes, when they hear, send it. And I'm going to show you a perfect audio of that working for us. So drivers, you're worried about plan B, plan C, plan D, and exterior fire attack. That's what we're worried about. So here's your scenario. Whoa, you're the driver of the first in pump. You drop your crews off at the lobby, and our lobby is the ground floor. You relocate the pumper to the fire department connection. Your fire department connections here, I paced them off, by the way. Some of them are in deep. Like we can just see them here. Your fire department connection may be offset from the road. What is that distance? Do you know?
Maximum of 18.
Is that right? Allegedly.
Allegedly. And then
Wow.
from the fire department connection to the vertical section of the pipe should be, again, 18 metres, 60 feet.
60 feet. And then your hydrant? Is there
Hydrant within 90 metres, so what's that in your language?
90 meters?
250 feet.
Oh, wow. That is different from us. So we have to be within 75 feet of the street and then 60 feet of the hydrant. Okay, it's similar. Like at least the area having jurisdictions have that laid in. Because some of the buildings I saw, I'm like, man, you can't get a fire truck in here. But the fire department connection, I know exactly where it is. And I'm refreshed to know that some of the things happening here is happening in North America.
That's in
Theory?
in the real world.
In the real world?
I'm seeing buildings that, might be, you might have 18 metres to the inlet, but then the vertical rise is 80 metres away.
Okay.
Yeah, so we see a lot of abuse in that area because they're focused on the distance from the appliance to the fire department connection rather than connection to where I've got to go and fight the fire.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Now we're on the same page. I'm glad you explained that.
Building behind the building.
Behind the building.
Into.
Yes. So you got to calculate that hydraulics into it. That's why in our world we have to be, that engine or pumper has to be within 50 feet of the building because of this exact scenario. Because we don't know.
And the pipeline might lay horizontally until it gets to the building behind the building.
Mm-hmm. Before it
Where
goes
fire
up.
is, not the front building.
And that system's dry, right? Check valve?
Yeah.
And what lives in the dry, that's where we get the mice. Yeah. And drug needles grow there too for some of the weirdest thing. Yeah. Okay, that's great. So where are we here? And that's why we talked about friction loss.
It is beyond a privilege to be able to bring the Firefights podcast to you, and we are so grateful for every single person that supports, listens, shares, and follows our journey. And to help us keep doing it, create more, reach more guests internationally, and make the podcast sustainable, we're asking for you to help. And to do this, we've set up a Patreon page. By joining our Patreon community, you will get access to every single full episode archive we have ever made. Now, hundreds and hundreds of key documents that we've got in there on fire behavior, firefighter health, cancer risks, incident debriefs, and so much more. So if you feel like you want to join the Patreon crew and help us make this possible, head to patreon.com/TFFPC or check the link in any episode podcast notes.
They're going to connect to the left side of the fire department connection first. They connect to the left side because we have threaded couplings. So when we go to put our hose spanner to tighten it, it'll hit the right side. You don't have that. You just hook up. So some countries do things better, some things does it worse. Should we get in a debate about Storz connection, quick connections, or threaded couplings? No, because they all have their purpose. Why do you think we use threaded couplings? Any idea? Yeah, because ice and thing. But when we do a vertical standpipe system, we only have to tie it off every 8 stories. In my new department, we have Storz, so the similar connections to what you have. But when we go vertically, because it's a Storz connection, we tie it off at every coupling. But for high rise, we go threaded to do the vertical every eighth coupling. That's the only difference, right?
The load across the coupling instantaneously going to burst. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So there's no right or wrong. What if we talk about the American helmet versus the European helmet? We're going to get in a discussion about that. Yeah, I don't care as long as whatever's best for the fire service. So where are we here now? Okay, so we got the first line hooked up. We use 65 millimeter gate on the right side. We're going to send hydrant pressure only into the building. Remember, that crew is just getting in the lobby. They're going to ground the elevators. They're getting ready for fire attack. There's a fire there. They've confirmed that on the panel. We're challenging the system. Right now, we're sending water at hydrant pressure only. We do not want to put water past that check valve. That check valve is being held by the weight of water. That fire pump could be running as well. If we want to get water in that building, we have to basically beat the fire pump, or if the fire pump's not running, we have to beat head pressure. That's why we only do it at hydrant pressure. We're challenging the system to see if it's going to hold. Where are we now? Perfect. So this is what it looks like. There should be a video here. Let's listen to a video. So this is challenging the building system, the wet test. See the volume.
For example, just calling your driver, just to get a let's say of a completed water source and are hooked up for the fire department today.
So, man, this is a Pump 233 driver. We have connected to the panelized connections and we have secured a water source. We're waiting for confirmation to start flying.
Roger, just advise command on the sensor failure of your wet test.
Perfect. Now there's a lot of garbage going on here now. So they challenge the building system. He wants to hear, which means the wet test passed. We're going to continue making up the connections. We're going to continue working.
Require the standpipe trucks.
Squad 232, Rush Squad.
This is car 32, 232, squad 232, chief 32. Aerial 233, chief 32.
Go ahead.
You are designated ventilation section.
Toronto Fire, second announcement they made. Pump for 233, we have total oil pressure. We put up total oil pressure on the fire floor. Not enough pressure to hit the fire.
Roger.
Uh-oh.
Plumber 233, you please charge that line, charge that standpipe. They require additional pressure up on the fire floor. Aerial 233, are you available to assume ventilation?
Far red. Affirmative, Toronto Fire Rescue 321 will be ready. Roger, inspector.
30 seconds. 30 seconds. So we anticipated, we forecasted that building system may not function as designed. We challenged the building system, it passed. Sure enough, things went bad. The fire pump failed in this case, and they said, charge the system. The lines are already hooked up. The system's already challenged. Crank the throttle. They crank the throttle, and they have water within 30 seconds. If you didn't do that, I want you to visually think in your head, what does that process now look like? You're going to roll out how many sticks of hose, make that, it's too late, right? That crew is now up there aloft. They've opened the stairwell door possibly. That fires continue to burn. How big does a fire grow every 3 minutes? 16 times larger? How fast is that? You see what I'm going here with the whole mathematical thing? We're simply out of time. The only way to buy time is to be proactive and challenge the building system.
Really important bit in the UK so it sounds like you've got a wet riser, so it's just charged at static pressure. When you open the valve, the pumps kick in and put the pressure up. If that doesn't happen, the fire service connects, then comes in to take over. In the UK, if it fails, it fails. There is no second.
So you're going to plan C now?
Yeah. There's no way to boost a wet riser in the UK.
Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah.
All right, we go to plan C.
Yeah.
All right. Look at this. So this is a fire on the 10th floor. Our aerial ladders only reach to 8, right? 110-foot aerial, the way the setbacks are. What is our main goal as firefighters? What is our top priority? Rescue, right? So all things change when it comes to rescue, right? So we have an aerial that reached 8 stories, but now we have a rescue. So they pull up and they have a child hanging from the 10th floor balcony, this balcony here, it's rescue time all day long. So the aerial butts right up against the building and they put it at an 85-degree climbing angle. Not ideal, is it? It's a rescue. So they're gonna make it happen. So they put it right up against the building, they get right to the 10th floor, they just get up to the 10th floor and the child lets go. No big deal, he lands on the 9th floor balcony, he's safe. This is one of our many encounters with lithium-ion batteries. So the child has the lithium-ion scooter charged at the exit. The scooter catches fire, the child can't exit. The child doesn't have smoke containment training. Neither do we, kind of do we. So what the child does, he escapes to the balcony. Thank goodness he had a balcony. He leaves the door open, the flow path is now created, and now the crew is going up to save him. So the engine companies are inside, and they're making getting up to the fire floor. They make entry, and our chief, when he saw this, he lost it. You're taking a hose line up a 85-degree climbing angle. You're doing what looks like vent, enter, isolation, and search. But what the chief, I had to correct him on it, was the radio transmission that came from that is, we're on the fire floor. It's failed the wet test system. We're pumping it, we have no water. So we have to use our aero device as a waterway, and they were successful on this fire. It looks horrific to the chief, but it was a game changer. So when you look at your appliances or your aerial apparatus, make sure you have, this is just hose going up. We thought we could spin that tip off. We thought we could add a hose line to it. We couldn't. The threads are different. It goes from a 3-inch waterway to a 2.5-inch adapter. It can't happen. So because of this, everything has changed. We can now hook our hose line up to the front section of this or run a hose up. Game changer. Here's another reason. So that first one, this is not Toronto, but I just love videos. It gives you that perspective. This is a real fire. Remember I said, don't play quarterback after the fact. It's being played for you. So here's an occupant evacuating. Sorry, I'm blocking your view there. I can see the gate engage. I can see a gated Y. I can see the proper size hose package. This is a problem. That's okay. We can correct this. But this is exciting. I know they're the fire's on 24. They're hooking up on 23. Everything makes sense to me. But listen to this audio here. We're going right to plan C. So they hooked up to the standpipe system. They challenged the building system. The building system failed. We're stretching to the ground floor outlet. If it's a PRV, you can't pump it. So now we're starting to get into more plans and more strategy. If a PRV, you can't pump a PRV. And I'm going to give you that strategy as well. So when we pull up, I talked about this earlier, our vertical response time is 6 minutes. Our deployment time, which is setting up your hose and nozzle package, that's another 6 minutes. We're at 12 minutes right here. You buy that 12 minutes back by challenging the building system. So if it fails the wet test, you're going to the ground floor outlet.
MSA are supporting us on today's podcast, and I chose to partner with them because I've been wearing this stuff for nearly 20 years, and they are the global leader in development, manufacture, and supply of incredible, safe products that really protect people, not just our communities out there, but also first responders, most importantly, all over the world. Get yourself over to MSA and have a look at it. The high-performance protective clothing for emergency services responders. They also partner with us on the UK Pink Firefighters. It's because we love them. The helmets with the reflective visor, the F1XF, absolutely epic helmet. And not forgetting how they improve firefighter safety through their connectivity in the connected firefighter platform. MSA are always pushing the envelope, and it's a real privilege to be able to continue to grow our partnership together. So whether it's your PPE, your bunker gear, your helmets, your SCBA, your thermal imaging, your Luna, or your portable gas detection, both of us know that this equipment needs to work. It needs to be high quality, reliable, and dependable in the moment. And that's why I use MSA, because they know what's at stake.
Now I want you to think even farther. What does that look like in your world? How are you making that happen? How are you using your resources when when shit hits the fan? It's the same terminology here, or you guys call it crap or shite. Same thing, right? We can call it caca, whatever we call it. When things go bad, we have to change on the fly. That's what I want to give you. So let's look at that. So we have hose beds. You don't have hose beds? That's fine. I don't care what you have. You have fire hose that has to go from point A to point B. So in our world, we have 200 feet. Let's just call it 4 lengths of hose. How many lengths of hose do you need to hook up to a fire department connection? Well, I told you we're always 50 feet. So 200 feet of hose is what we need. So when I hook up, I need 4 sticks of hose. We have a pull just for that. What I like about this pull, it works for residential house fires as well. When I pull up to a residential house fire, I can pull that. I can do ease attack. I can do exterior to interior hit. So it's really the jack of all trade hose pulls. Long lays. How many lengths can you get from your fire truck with 65 millimeter hose? How many lengths can you get from your fire truck with 45 millimeter hose and still get the proper pressures without over pumping. 6 lengths on a 45. I can over pump and get 9 lengths, or I can get 22 lengths with a 65, and I can start over pumping after that. That's a huge difference. 6 versus 22 lengths. What are my tactical options when I pull a 45 off my truck? My tactical option is to pull 65 millimeter hose. If I pull a 65 millimeter hose off my truck without stretching a new line, I have 6 options. 6 tactical changes that I can do. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And it's my RIT line, it's my backup line, and most importantly, it's also my improvised standpipe. That's why we have threaded for our lines. That's what it looks like there. One pull, it passes the wet test. There's my full connection. I'm not wasting any time. It doesn't have to be a hose bed. It can be hose rolls. You have to come up with the strategy to pull that off. So if plan B doesn't work, this is a real fire. The crew goes up to do the wet test and they, oh, is it planned? No, it didn't play. Oh, there we go. Didn't like me. So they go to hook up to the standpipe system. It's just hanging on there, right? So this failed the wet test system. There's no Americans in here, right? So I was teaching a bunch of Americans. They said, well, can't you just feed the hose into there? Yeah. Okay, yeah, sure, try it. I've been to a lot of places. Every single one of these places are a plane ride from Toronto. And every single one of these is a failed system. And I told you about our failed system. This here has a clapper valve. If I pump this side, that closes the other side. So why is that failing? There's no, it's just a clapper. It shouldn't. What about this one? Oracle. Yeah, exactly. This here, we call it a wafer valve. Water cannot go this way, but it's going this way and we have a leak. And this here is where it's just, you have a weak system. We blew the wall out of it. So these systems are not reliable. So don't get fixated on, we're just going to pump the building system. Because I'm telling you, these failures are common. It's what we call normal. Okay, there we go. So because it's called normal, we go to do the wet test. We just laid the first length of hose to the fire department connection to do the wet test. The wet test fails. Guess what I still have hooked up to my truck? And I have 3 more sticks left with a nozzle on it. It goes into the ground floor standpipe outlet. So it's one pull off the truck, gets me my plan B and my plan C. I go to the ground floor outlet, I take the cap off, P or V. I can't pump it. We go to a different plan. But our first stretch sets us up for success. It's a P or V. We can't pump it. What do? We have a gate and gauge system. We put the gate and gauge system and we pump that at 150 PSI, 200 PSI, it doesn't matter what we pump it to. What we're doing with this gate and gauge system is we're taking the pump panel from our fire truck and we're giving it to the end user downrange. Here you go. I'm your hydrant. You're going to control your own pressure. You add 3 lengths of hose, perfect. Add a 430 GPM nozzle, perfect. 500 GPM, perfect. 190 GPM, all right, dial it down. We're giving the end user the ability to control their own water supply without radio communications. Remember that first slide in the presentation we talked about high-rise firefighting, you're radio dependent? Take the radio dependency off that one section, pump the line. Residential house fire. That's the 3rd line we pull. We take our standpipes for residential house fires. We call them a standpipe kit, so that's all it's good for is standpipes. Nope, it's the 3rd line out of fire. That will go to the Charlie side of the building possibly. It's our RIT line as well, and we drop a gate and gauge, and we tell the pump operator the 3rd line's in play. They send 150 PSI, 200 PSI to it, doesn't matter. They overpump that line. So at any time during that fire attack, when shit hits the fan, we're going to call it cucka. When cucka hits the fan, I hook a line up to that. I'm going right to work. I'm putting my fire pump or fire gate and gauge in a precarious area within the building or on the outside of the building. So when cucka hits the fan, I can immediately adapt to those changing conditions. So come up with a plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E. And this building here, this is underground parking. What do you think's burning there? I think 480 unit, 480 shower enclosures. What do you think that burns like? Spectacular. I'm telling you, spectacular. So I don't know if you caught it. There was a stack of extinguishers And when I love seeing static extinguishers. As soon as I walk in, I see extinguishers. It paints a perfect picture for me, right? How long did it take you to try and extinguish that fire before you called us, right? It's kind of funny. And they go, like they play stupid. Then we get there, we go down to P4. So there goes our radio communications. We hook up to the standpipe system. We got no water. Now, we're not the smartest, I'll have a minute. So they go to floor 3 and they try to hook up on that. They go to floor 2, try to hook up on that. Yeah, we figured it out. But the main reason is we went down there with 6 sticks of hose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This group of firefighters on the front row here, you have the ability to do a 300-foot stretch with only 6 of you, because each one of you brought a hose pack with you. So when Kaka hit the fan, they immediately adjusted because they had what they needed with them. So stretching lines and hooking up to the hydrant takes time. Time is the enemy. If crews are on fire attack and they're calling for water, they need it, and they need it now. They don't have time. They are on air. They're vulnerable while the fire department connection is being troubleshooted. Take that off the table and do it early. Mayday, 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 real fires. I love talking about real fires. These are the type of feedback that I want to get from you. We're going to get that feedback from you, by the way. I love your story from last night. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Do you have buildings like this in your city? This is a real fire. Normally, I play the audio and we backfill. I'm going to tell you the whole story right off the bat because you just saw me do something similar. Rescue is our priority. And I just showed you that 10-story aerial. Our rescue is our priority. We have flames showing on 7. Where do you guys take the elevator to? How many floors below? You going to 2 below, so you're going to what floor? 5 in this case. Okay, perfect. We're all on the same page, 2 floors below, and what do you call that? A bridgehead. Okay, we call it forward staging. Doesn't matter, we're on the same page now. So we're gonna set up the bridgehead on 5 for fire on 7. Makes sense. Okay, but now things change. We have a rescue on 6 times 2. Does this change your outcome? What's our priority? Rescue, right? I see you thinking. This is a real incident. Fire's on 7, rescue's on 6. Can they shelter in place?
So condition inside 6. There's the smoke on the 6th floor.
And that's the missing thing. That's how we get fooled. So the first in crew are going in the building and they see immediate rescue. They see flames on 6. And I'm telling you, I've done this in my career. I don't mind telling you my mistake. Okay, I see a rescue. Something's going on. I don't see smoke. You know what? Let's go to 5. Think about it. I just saved a stair story. I'm buying time for that occupant. We're going to 5. We're professional firefighters. If we open that door and we encounter smoke, we're going to mask up. But don't worry, the fire's on 7. You see where this is going, right? The fire's not on 7. Fire is showing on 7 because this is an open stairwell. It's wind impacted. The fire is on 6. It's showing on 7. They're evacuating from floor 6. See how that mistake can be made? And I'm telling you, I've done it. They're just doing it with a horrible outcome.
William Wood Watches are back supporting the podcast, and honestly, it means a lot to me because this brand is built on real service heritage. Whether it's the melting down of the original 1920s British brass firefighter helmets, and they also use upcycled fire hose on all of their straps. It's not just design, it's about the job, and it's built into every single component. I've been wearing them for 10 years now. Found them back in 2015, actually, and they've genuinely been a part of my daily kit ever since. I've got 2. I've got the Valiant, and I've got the Chivalrous as well in Midnight Blue. But the thing about the brand, about William Wood Watches, it stands so different because of its story. Take, for example, their Dunkirk watch. That's not just a timepiece. It's actually built to honour the Massey Shore fireboat. I'll be honest though, the one I've got my eye on this year is the Fearless. It's more of like a field watch on the station, on the watch. It's a smaller 39mm case, compact, rugged, just feels right for the job. So you can actually get 10% off a William Wood Watch by using code FFPodcast. If you want to be part of the history and you want to wear it on your wrist, jump in the notes, check out William Wood Watches. Let's get back to the show.
So there's the rescue. It almost looks like it's not their first time escaping because he does a cool roll. Do you guys have Crocs in the UK? God, don't you hate them? Anyways, apparently you can climb down an aerial ladder with them. So let's look at this now that I got the cat out of the bag. We go to 5 traditionally for a fire that we think's on 7. What was missed here is really going to the panel. It's that simple, going to the panel. You're bypassing the panel that tells you where the fire originated from, which was on 6, sorry. So there's our fire. So this is what happens. The crew gets up there, the elevator doors open, and this is firsthand information. So the captain, senior firefighter, and the rookie are in the elevator, and the doors open up. It's wind impacted. Takes the flow. What's the shaft? It draws fire, right? It draws the heat toward the captain. The captain says, "I took 1 breath, not 2, 1 breath, and that's all I remember." The senior firefighter, she said, "I took 2 breaths, and that's all I remember." The junior firefighter said, "Well, I prepared in the academy. This is my first fire. I'm ready. That's all I'm thinking about is that door opening up and I'm getting smoke." He drops his knees, masks up, and calls the mayday. Super cool, isn't it? That firefighter is fresh from the academy. That firefighter takes, in this case, where would we take the elevator? You said floor 5. Where do you think he called the mayday to? 5. They got off on 6, but his training instills in that we never, ever, 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 ever not take the elevator to 2 floors below. So he was wrong, right? But he was right, wasn't he? You see how that balance plays out? But when shit caca hits the fan, you're going to call 5, aren't you? Because you're always thinking 2 floors below. The muscle memory, the troubleshooting, it's all trying to connect the dots. So they drop their recruits in it. This is what it looks like here. They take this elevator here. This is the stairwell. These are gone. This is opened up. The fire starts here. It's wind impacted on 6. Fire goes up the stairs, shows on 7. This is a common mistake we can all make. That's all it was. It was a couch on fire. There's your fire detection equipment. There's your standpipe. There is spalling. That's how hot it was. Hard to believe. For just a little couch on fire in an open well. Let's listen to the audio. Oh, and here's another thing about audio. You're going to hear the mayday on 5 in the elevator, and I can tell from the dispatchers talking. Was that a mayday? I think there was a mayday, and they're talking you won't hear it, but in person they're saying we were talking. Like, did you hear a mayday? I thought I heard a mayday. We should play that back. I think there was a mayday. And then they hear the chief say. They actually prompt the chief. They go, "Chief, did you hear that crew on 5? Yep, I did. There's still no mayday being called. Then you hear, as this thing progressive, I didn't hear this, I didn't hear that. The mayday wasn't called. Listen to when the mayday was called.
You're laying the line right now.
Grant, copy of fire on the 6th floor. Breaking open fire. Go just find me a ambulance here, please. Or you need opening for traffic control.
We have ambulance en route and OHC on scene. We'll get OPD also.
Engine 10 on scene.
Into 10 on scene.
Engine 1, you're going to be Division 6. Engine 10, you'll be Division 7. I need you to pull a secondary line to the 7th floor and effect fire attack on the 7th floor.
10-4, engine 10 to start. Got it. Come on. What you had to do? Where in the elevator?
That's the mayday.
Can you repeat the word again?
Here's the dispatcher. Not this one.
Grant, copy. Engine 12, you'll be backup fire attack for engine 10 on Division 7.
Command be advised, engine 2.
Copy backup fire attack.
Command be advised, engine 2 is saying he's in the elevator.
Concerning, right? They're concerned. That's why she prompted that.
Command copy, engine 2 is in the elevator.
Okay. So she thinks it's been acknowledged. They think things are happening.
Firefighter down inside the elevator.
Still no mayday called. It's not the rookie's fault. He called it, right?
Number 5.
He corrected it as a rookie. He's on 6. She says 5, it was 6. He corrected it.
Copy that. You stuck in the elevator?
Does he think they're stuck in the elevator?
The 2 bodies are in his way. The captain and the senior firefighter. Yeah, on the hose line.
On scene, engine 4. Command, will you check on the elevator on the 5th floor, see if any of our members are stuck in there?
Still not sure, right?
Copy, we'll go to the elevator 5th floor.
Command, Uncle 5.
Division 691, can I get an update on conditions on the 6th floor? Savannah, this is Randall Wood. We're on the 6th floor. We got a hot fire is leak, but it's not the fire now. We got fast leak now. Fast leak now. Division 6, did you got that firefighter down on Division 6? We're trying to the center now.
So Scott, but this is hard for me to hear because I know the full story. I know everyone's story. I'm telling you, no one made a mistake there. The rookie, the recruit, the nothing. It's just bad circumstances. Well, this is why you do have to follow those policies and procedures. And if you notice when they said the fire is on 6, where do you think that information came from? The fire is on 6. The what? Nope. But it could happen. Sure, that could happen. Huh? Nope. It was actually prompted before the Mayday. Before they realized the Mayday. Yeah. Bingo! It came from the panel. So when that first mistake is made, those other ones will come shortly after. The later you make your mistake in the fire, the better. But when you make it off the hop, you have all these different variables that's going to happen. That's all it was. You missed the panel. It's really that simple. But you add the rescue into it. You add the change of dynamics. It's not routine. That's when you start making mistakes. And I've done that and been so successful going to one floor below the fire floor because I'm in a rush. So we all do it. We just haven't been caught. We have big decisions to make as firefighters, don't we? Big decisions. Who here has kids? Okay, a lot of you. If your kids go in this cornfield and you got to look for them, where do you start? Okay, what if it's a cornfield and you didn't see them go in? Where do you start your search now?
When it's broken.
You don't know.
You don't know, do you? Okay, what do? Do you stop the combine or do you go search for them? Big decisions, isn't it? Sometimes you have to change your cadence, change your pace. There they are. They're fine. They're fine. They're fine. Okay. So when we look at residential and commercial high-rise buildings, envision it as a cornfield, right? There's your residential cornfield. There's your commercial cornfield. And this is where you're going to have to pivot sometimes. You know, we're going to fight a fire. We might have to do something first or vice versa. We're going to contain, this is the audibles that we have to experience as firefighters. And if you don't run these scenarios, you're going to be presented them in a panic environment, and you might make the wrong decision. It's 50-50. And this is why we run scenario-based training. And we come up with every what ifs that we can think about to prepare firefighters for this type of scenario. And also in doing that, you have to come up with battle plans. So I told you all the beautiful buildings that I've been at. How do you come up with a generic cookie cutter response for all these buildings when they're all different? We have to add the battle plan to our tactics. So I'm going to talk about tactics after lunch and all the fun things that we do. But it's really the building that dictates how we're supposed to fight a fire in it. So this is a New York battle plan of a building. I know where my standpipe risers are. I know where my elevator banks are. I know where my blind shafts are. I know where my ventilation or my HVAC signs are. I know where my people with disabilities are. This is excellent. It's on one page. I've added a different layers. We can flip that page over to a Google image, and I'll tell you where the first, second, and third arriving vehicle should be parked. The first arriving vehicle in some SOPs and SOGs standing procedures, tell me exactly where to park. It doesn't work that way because that's just not generic. In some of our buildings, the way, and I see it here in London, if the first in vehicle takes a fire department connection, it's on the Charlie side of the building. So it's the arrival sequence and the building's layout, the hydrant and fire department connection that dictates which truck takes a hydrant, which truck takes a fire department connection. It can't be generic. You can spill that over into your battle plan. So I'm third in on the shard, I'm taking the hydrant if I'm third in apparatus. In some buildings, when you're first in, you're going to take the hydrant. You're first in, but you drop your crew off at the lobby and you relocate the engine to the hydrant. That's a battle plan. Or your second in engine, you drop your crew at the lobby, you relocate the apparatus to the fire department connection. That's what a battle plan is. It's not always the first in apparatus. So this is common. This is in my world. I wrote a technical paper on this for the Council of Tall Buildings and Urban Habitat. I have something similar in fire engineering, but this is my world. And I know it's your world.
Quick pause, because I want to tell you about a new partnership we have with First Tactical. First Tactical builds equipment for people who work when environments are seriously unforgiving. And if you go to their website, you'll find kit is designed specifically for us, for firefighters, for police officers, technical rescue teams, fire investigation, hazmat, hazardous materials teams, urban search and rescue. This is honestly the equipment that you really want to rely on. It's built for real operations, real pressure, long ass days, and I genuinely use this stuff. Here's a few of my favorites. They've got their men's Defender short sleeve. I've got that in black. It's got a huge load of specialized pockets, space for all of our gears, the pads, the pens, all of the stuff. It's got them on the sleeves on both sides. Also got the Defender pants. These have got 28 pockets in total on them. It's mad. Let's be honest, we absolutely love the bags. I use their 25-litre specialist half-day backpack. The shoulder straps as well are strong AF. Like I say, this isn't lifestyle gear. Is built for real world, real operations. We talk about the realities of the job, and First Tactical is just the ideal partnership for us. So go take a look, firsttactical.co.uk. Now back to the show.
So we pull up to this building, and the security guard, these are all outward swinging doors, not a keyed access. The security guard takes us around. I go, which stairwell leads to the tower? Oh, I don't know, one of these four. It's not his fault though, is it? He's not preparing for this type of scenario. We get frustrated at firefighters, so we get all four doors open, leave the equipment, let's go for a walk. And we all take different stairwells. Do you guys experience this where you go to a stairwell? I mean, we can look at any building here and you see tons of exterior doors. Which one leads to the stairwell? What if you put a Maltese cross on one of these stairwells and maybe a fan for positive pressure isolation? So I know when I'm running around to the Charlie side of the building, which one of those 22, 23 doors that is going to lead me to the podium that leads me to the staircase. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we got to investigate this, only one in stairwell 3 that leads to my scissor staircase. That's the Alpha side, that's the Charlie side of the building. The transfer stairs, look how long they are. And one crew said, yeah, we got up there, we saw a door, and we said, okay, that's not it. We came back because one of you guys probably found the right one. This was the right one. It just turns up here. So these are the mistakes that we make as firefighters. So we can get better in our signage. Just tell us which one leads to that podium, please. That'll give us the ability to do an improvised standpipe. It'll give us the ability to do positive pressure isolation. So when we do positive pressure isolation, it's not just about improvised standpipe. It's that door, and there's got many doors on the shard, I'm assuming as well, which one leads to the tower. This building would have positive pressure stairwells, I'm sure of it. But if that building system fails or I need to supplement it, I need to know which one of those exterior doors is going to work for me. Put a sticker on it, Maltese cross or a fan, and you'll greatly improve. And how much does that cost? 0, right? So this is a battle plan for 200 Wellesley. This is our arch nemesis. So I know when I go to the north stairwell, I'm going down a set of stairs. When I go to the south stairwell, I'm going up a set of stairs. I know our fans can give us positive pressure isolation up to 30 stories. They're badass. They're gas powered. They're going to cause a whole bunch of carbon monoxide. Oh, really? What's the fire carbon monoxide and hydrogen cyanide? What's that producing? 500, 600? We ran these fans for 45 minutes. And they produced 25 parts per million of CO. A commercial property in my world is allowed 28 parts per million over an 8-hour period. So we use gas-powered fans in certain instances, and this is one of them. Then we use electric-powered fans on the interior. So this is the chart. This is the center stairwell. It does not lead to the outside. This building only has one roof hatch. It's in the center staircase. So I can positive pressure isolate all my staircases. So when I go to do fire attack, I have a safe environment. What if I lose the building altogether? We're going to talk after lunch about Twin Parks in New York City. 17 people died, 68 went to hospital, North America's largest fire department. They lost that battle based on timing, not on policies and procedures. They lost the battle before they rolled out of the station, but I'll explain that. So I can actually clear the center staircase and turn my fans on and off and close a roof hatch, and I can protect that stairwell. It's recognizing those troubleshooting scenarios that we're going to encounter. It's smoke that kills people, not the fire, generally speaking. We are smoke fighters first when it comes to high-rise buildings. Lose the term firefighting. We're not. We're smoke fighters. That's what's killing these people. So when you pull up to a building, it's in alarm. This is for fishing. You guys fish? Probably wouldn't want to drink anything out of the Thames or eat anything out of the Thames, would you? Is that safe to say? We're on the same page there. So when I come up to a building, it's an alarm. I grab my fish scale and I open the door with it, and it tells me how many pounds it is. Now it's alarm, careless smoking, whatever the case may be. On my exit and the building's reset, I do the same thing. And there'll be a pound's difference. There'll be a difference if the building has its own protection system. So now I know in my first run area, without talking to an engineer, architect, and trying to troubleshoot, if that building has protection or not. That's just a what-if thing for me. So we also, every single pot on the stove, kitchen fire, I will go to on the high-rise unit when I was a captain. And I go to the elevator shaft, and you can see the toilet paper work in there. I get my acting captain, Dean, to open and close the door. And look how quickly Dean closes the door, I get a change in conditions. He opens the door. Is he going to open it? Instant reaction. So how fast is smoke sped through a building? By opening one door, an entrance and an exit. Faster than you can run. Faster than you can run. We are smoke fighters, not firefighters when it comes to high-rise buildings. So now with a little bit of information, and we can add reach of stream to this. I know at 200 Wellesley Street where I can get with my reaches of stream and where I can't get on Alpha, and I know where I can't get on the Charlie side. That's a battle plan. So if you have something that needs done here, and you have your resources, and you make the attempt during a fire, you're not going to be successful, are you? How do you know that? Well, because we did the math before the fire happened, that we're not going to be successful here. So when things came up to budget, yada, 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 that's when I'm going to skip. That's when we bought the 230-foot tower, 70-meter tower. So now 200 Wellesley Street is completely covered for improvised standpipe and exterior to interior reach-to-stream capabilities. I'm just going to go back to this. These are other tactics. I know each one of my appliances, what story I can get on it. And if I can't get it, that's when we switch to the floor below nozzle. This was on a podcast, and I was getting frustrated, and we talked about, I said, we're the SWAT team of the fire department. He goes, what does the SWAT team stand for? I'm like, Special Water Application and Tactics, just like that. And it went viral. Okay, so what about this? Is this realistic? Is this AI? Is this generated? Any idea? Do you guys fight wildland fires or forest fires? All right, well, now you're going to have them on buildings. That's a reality. It doesn't scare me. This is in Singapore, amazing country. You can cool these buildings by using vegetation. You can collect rainwater. You can collect solar power. You can collect wind power. High-rise buildings are going to be so commonplace in the next 5 to 10 years. The process is already happening. The buildings are already built. The fountains in New York City, the 9/11 fountains, where do you think where do they get their water from? Any idea? Yeah, they get it from the new World Trade Center building. All that water is from World Trade Center. So they're already collecting water. In Singapore, different climate, they're collecting it for the vegetation to help cool the building, and is environmentally friendly. So can you build environmentally friendly building? Absolutely. Cladding, solar powered, collect the energy. It's already there. Retrofit programs in my area, balconies now are all solar powered. Older buildings are now solar powered. It's already here, they're already built. What I like about Singapore is this very tastefully. There's my access routes. This doesn't look offensive to me. We have certain codes. It has to be this size, red, this, that, and the other thing. They have battle plans, so they can actually, in the design, make it look, respectable. They'll tell you exactly which apparatus parks there. that's going to be successful, and they'll give you the tons, how much those vehicles weight. And there's another one there. They'll tell you exactly where to park the apparatus. The engines park in red, the aerials park in yellow, and that's where your outriggers go. They got their battle plans figured out. We should maybe start listening to just other fire departments and open our perspective. Oh, and their escape routes too. I love this. Oh, that's just for crowd control. No, it's not. Look at the yellow. I know where that truck's parking. I know where this truck is parking. It's absolutely brilliant. It's unoffensive. And I didn't tell you, if I didn't tell you that was there, you wouldn't even notice. That's for us as firefighters.
Today's episode is proudly supported by PBI. For over 40 years, PBI has been trusted and proven in the fire service, protecting what matters most, firefighters. PBI develops high-performance protective fabrics designed for the realities of the fireground, with a focus on flame resistance, low thermal conductivity, break-open protection, durability, and comfort. Because when conditions change quickly, your PPE has to do more than just look the part. It has to perform again and again under heat, stress, wear, and real operational use. We're incredibly proud to partner with PBI because their work sits exactly where this podcast lives. Firefighter safety, education, innovation, and helping crews better understand the protection they really rely on every single day. To learn more, visit PBI Products and explore the science behind the fabrics protecting firefighters around the world. Let's get back to the show.
So I want to talk about this. Do you think you can handle this fire here? Yeah, a lot of smoke, isn't it? When I pull up to something like this, I'm like, it's going to be easy peasy. That's a balcony fire. All that smoke is on the exterior. These ones here, no smoke. 6 people dead, multiple firefighters in trouble. So we're so used to not seeing signs when we pull up to false alarm calls. That's where the complacency thing settles in. That's where we have to be that much prepared, because this is not a big deal. There's no smoke inside that. That's a balcony fire. So if we look at history will repeat itself. This is Forest Laneway. When I first got on the job, 5th floor fire, 6 people died. And guess where all 6 people died? In the common areas, in the stairwells, exactly. Actually, the Roger, James, and Al Desant rescued a couple they found in the stairwell, dragged him into the hallway, dirty hallway, dragged him in the apartment. They're working on him. They look up and they see the picture of the 2 of them. They dragged them back to their area of refuge. Now, I'm not picking evacuate or not evacuate. It's more complicated than that. But in this case, the shelter in place would have been the right strategy. What about this, 650 Parliament? Do you guys have these on all your trucks? Does anyone know what that is? Don't say oxyacetylene. It's a 100-pound CO2 extinguisher. And we called every single one that day to come to that fire. It wasn't a room and contents fire. It wasn't an exterior cladding fire. It was the electrical chaseway. You guys check out this floor here. What do you think's underneath us here? Well, it's a giant chaseway. Walk in the other room there. You'll see how hollow it is. What are you going to do for a fire in here? And this has been piled over top of it. What are you doing for a fire in there? When you walk in at lunchtime, look at that floor gap. We get fires in those. Do you have a nozzle for that? Do you have a tactic for that? You have a sledgehammer for that. That's the firefighter's end all and be all. But we have a nozzle for this exact scenario. What about in the ceiling, the plenum, the speakers, the wires? Do you have a plan for that? We do on our first wave. We have a plan for the hidden voids because we've experienced it, right? It was 1 year and 6 months before occupants were allowed back in that building for the electrical chaseway. That's all it was. What about this? Are you capable of dealing with something like this? That's a decent fire, isn't it? We took the wrong stairwell. We were instantly corrected. We took the right stairwell, but this was I think it was a 14-minute fire for us. So we look out here. If you look out those windows, and you'll see the rooftop decking, composite decking, artificial turf, dogs, the things. That's all this was. But it's a good-looking fire, isn't it? We have a proper hose and nozzle package. You'll see this building over here. It's dropped down. It's about midway up the building. And I got a one fire, 36 Lisgard. I'll never forget it. Because we have a fully sprinkler building. Everything is working on the building. And it's now a 4-line fire. Because the fire started on the exterior, the composite decking, the Muskoka chairs, all that other IKEA click flooring, breaks the windows. It's wind impacted. This building, the sprinkler system's not designed for a diesel truck on fire just outside your building at an elevated portion in the building. We see this. It's here already. It's going to happen to you eventually. So what about this? Mayday, mayday, mayday. Firefighter down. If you've never been in a mayday, oh, someone's knocking? Hey, there's sandwiches. You better open that one. So here's the thing about a Mayday, and if you've never been in a high-rise fire, you're not going to get this. So you think, I'm in a tube. If Kaka hits the fan, I'm going right or left, I'm running to the stairwell door. That works on some buildings, right? But where it doesn't work, and I want you to visualize this, shit hits the fan, because this is the first kind of experience that I encountered where we can't extinguish the fire. It's not lithium ion, it's car tires. So we store car tires in the wintertime, right? And then we store the same in the summertime. So they get in there, they're doing a great job, they get a good hit, but they're inside the closet and they don't get extinguishment. What do you think car tires look like when they're burning on the interior? I can tell you from experience. I'm wiping my face piece, I'm wiping the tick, I'm wiping this side, and I repeat that nonstop. And I have to get out, or I have to get in. It can't be done, is basically what I'm telling you. Wipe, 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 screw it. And that's exactly what happened in this case. Let's learn from other, and there's not mistakes, these are lessons. 200 Wellesley Street, right? 8-hour high-rise fire contained to the room and contents. We're back again, this time in 2019 for a fourth alarm. The good news is we used 500 less firefighters in 2019. What's happening here? We got hit on it, 6 lines. The more lines you pull from the standpipe system, it hurts all the other lines. So we should have went to an improvised standpipe after the second line was pulled. Lessons learned, right? We were hurting ourselves by being aggressive in what we thought was the right way. We didn't understand the standpipe system. We do now. These are the lessons we share. Has everyone ever heard that? The multiple lines you pull from a system, the worst it does for the first in line? The first line that went down to save life and property, we're gonna rob from that? Does that sound crazy? But that's what we're doing. And this is the type of stuff that we need to share as professional firefighters. What about this? I want you to envision this. This is Chicago. That's a good fire. And they got a hit on it. Balconies, none. It's going to auto expose even faster, so they got a good fire. What does that look like on the interior? Do they have a first line and second line on the fire? What does that next wave look like going above the fire? What are the conditions of the stairwells? Pretty bad, I bet. I'm just guessing. Now, if that's allowed to continue, it will start looking like something like this. Now we have 9 stories of fire involvement. I said about 6 lines we pulled and how we hurt the first in. What would 9 lines be pulled off for a fire that size? And I'm not playing quarterback after the fact. And our speakers, you actually hinted on it. I was excited because I knew this was coming up in the presentation. It's as simple as Chicago Fire Department has 12 floor below nozzles. They have a rotary distributor nozzle on every single one of their trucks, and they know the tactics for this type of fire, and they never used them. Not their fault. It's not their fault because not in their deployment model. It's not in their scenario-based training. It's if we get this fire, we're going to use this. But when that fire happens, and I talked about 6 minutes, 12 minutes, you're out of play. That's the gap. And this is why we have to share these stories. So now Jimmy Davis, one of my best friends, he says, hey, we need to add this into the deployment model. And that equipment has to come on the first push. And the first push means first wave, not the first crew. Get those tactics into play, because when you're down there going, what do you mean the fire's above us? Perfect. Rotary distributor, portable monitor, floor below, opposing tip. The 65 millimeter hose line gives us 6 options. The 45 gives us 1 option. And that 1 option is to pull the 65 to give us the 6 options. That's why the NFPA 1413E, 1710 talk about this. I'm just telling you the firefighter's perspective. I'm not playing quarterback after the fact, because the exact same thing happened to me right here. 9 stories. Happened in Chicago, 9 stories. Happened to me, 9 stories. The only difference is that we got the floor below nozzle flowing right there. And we put 3 stories worth out, but it happened so fast because it took us 27 minutes to get down from the downtown core up to this fire to sort it out. We know how fast fire spreads. We know how fast smoke spreads. So we lost this battle before we even got there. We were able to correct it, but the damage was already done. So we're learning. We needed a second high-rise unit. We need more tactics. We need the deployment model. That's what we're missing as firefighters. Let's share these stories. The Mayday, same with this one here. This is when we learned, this is one of our big towers. They're cooling the exterior. They don't want to put water from exterior to interior because they're going to create steam that's going to push fire, that's going to do a bunch of damage. So we changed all our nozzles to smooth bores after this fire. You can hit water from exterior to interior with a smoothbore nozzle and not affect the firefighting crews on the interior. If it's a fixed stream, slow moving at the ceiling. You're causing contraction, you're not making that steam. It's a ridiculous amount of water, yes, but it's gonna make all your problems go away. So all our aerials in Toronto now have smoothbore nozzles on them because it's the exterior to interior hit that's gonna make the difference. And it's big water hits, right? These are big water. So this fire here is the 15th and 16th floor on fire. Remember all those videos I showed you about fallen debris? Well, this fallen debris was on fire. So it caught the podium on fire. There's actually a third fire off tactic. Building's under construction. I've never had water on it. So we thought right off the hop, I'm not even gonna troubleshoot this building system. My experience tells me I have a very, very good chance of it failing. We're doing what's called a progressive stretch right from the ground floor. We get water on that within 15 minutes. Easy peasy. How many, so we've counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you. What's our vertical hose length? If I take 6 of you, how much does one stick of hose, 50-foot stick, 15-meter stick of hose get you in height on a building?
15 meters. Should get you 2 floors.
Gets us 5.
Oh, if you put it up the center.
Or the exterior. And that's, yeah, that's what we did. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 stories worth of improvised standpipe. You guys do the truck and engine company thing, where only engine people take hose, truck coming to, you do? Stop doing that, right? That's like, US-based truck and engine company thing. Doesn't work for high-rise buildings. If you're going in the building, I need the truck guys to bring hose. The truck guys go, they break the door down, they locate the fire, they got the water can, right? We know exactly how much water a water can can put out. You go on YouTube and you see amazing stories of the water can put out a fully involved couch. And I'm the one that brought the water can to Toronto Fire. The biggest mistake I've ever made in my career. I'm watching YouTube videos and I went and did it. I put a fully involved couch out. I went in, turned the cushions over, in 1 minute and 30 seconds, I put 2.5 gallons on that couch and I had it out. Yeah, it's a win. Chief, here's my proof. All right, go buy 147 water cans. Big budget items, right? Then you got to train them. Then it went on and on and on. So then I started watching the video because I might have a theory one day, get more science, change that theory. And I'm watching the same video that I convinced the chiefs with to get the water can. And what I failed to see was the fact the temperature didn't change within inside that shipping container. Yep, I put out a fully involved couch in 1 minute and 30 seconds. I didn't change the temperature. I increased the toxicity and it was still unsurvivable for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Now our tactic, that same thing is 6-second done. I can search faster now because I put 1,003 liters per minute into that structure. I get my lift, I reduce my toxicity, I cool the environment. So 6 seconds or 1 minute and 30 seconds. Pick your poison. All right, Clark County, Nevada. Remember I talked about electrical chaseways? What's this on fire? Have you ever had firefighters die in an elevator shaft? Yeah, falling down inside them. What I like about Clark County is you notice that every single firefighter here is buttoned up. Every single firefighter has their face piece on, but what do they not have on? Bingo, they don't have the regulator. So if we get a change in conditions, how fast is it to hook up a regulator? Instantaneous. Now, the only thing, and I'm not playing quarterback after the fact, but Clark Lamping and I, we're on the same circuit together. We're going to change a nozzle for this type of application. You're going to see it here next. That has 185 GPMs. It's right here. This nozzle has 185 GPMs off each side, so 370 GPMs. You're going in a residential house fire in your world right now with London, you're doing 160, 150 GPMs. This is 185 off each side. You have nozzle reaction. This has 0 nozzle reaction. I can put this up for horizontal void and hold it with 2 fingers. I can stick it out a window. 50% of my water's going to waste, but the 185 is flanking the fire. The fire's above me because I picked the wrong floor. I can shoot 8 stories from one fixed location. Oh, I went too high, it's below me. I just do that. And it works with our 65 millimeter hose and nozzle package. A 45 won't be able to feed that properly. And you saw the exterior, we can hit that. Look at how much water we're placing on that. We're starting to evolve. So if you want to know how we changed, and we're going to, Russ, I'm watching, how much time do we have?
A couple of minutes till lunch.
Perfect. This is going to set up perfectly. There's the QR code, but when we come back after lunch, you're going next and I'll close. Is that, okay, perfect. This is right here. And this is video, so you don't have to read it. You can just watch the videos. This here is area refuge. This here is firefighter survival. And I'm going to tell you the mistakes that we made and how we accidentally came up with the tactics right here. Blue is safe, red is the death zone. And we're going to explain area refuge. So when you start thinking, can I evacuate someone? If Cucka hits the fan, where am I going? This article explains the whole thing. And I'm going to explain the whole thing after lunch as well. We were simply going in underflowed. We were simply not prepared. We didn't understand the science, but we do now. We're going to talk about, when we come back after lunch, is high-rise search and rescue. I'm going to connect the dots between water application, search and rescue, area refuge, ventilation after lunch. Sounds good? A lot of information? Reach out to me, ask those questions.
Well, that's it for today, folks. Hope you took a lot away from that episode. We started the Firefighters podcast to develop, inspire, connect, motivate, represent, and most importantly, celebrate the world of incredible emergency services operators and the wider sector through this series of wide-ranging conversations. We really love creating this podcast and bringing it to so many people. Did you know you can also find these on YouTube? We do a lot of video podcasts now. You can head over to our YouTube page and follow, subscribe there. And as a final ask from us, whatever platform you're on, please rate the podcast. It really helps us as a key performance indicator to reach more and more people. I've been your host, Pete Wakefield. This has been the Firefighters Podcast. And wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, be happy, and where possible, please remember and support your firefighters and first responders. I'll see you next time.